Picture this. It is early morning. The sun has not fully risen yet. You are not in a bedroom. You are not staring at a ceiling you have stared at 1,000 times. You are lying in a cabin berth, and the only sound in the world is water moving gently against the hull beneath you. You get up, walk 6 steps to your kitchen, brew a cup of coffee, and step outside. The air smells like salt. A pelican glides past without making a sound. Somewhere in the distance, another boat is quietly leaving the marina. That is not a vacation. That is your life. And today, we found 5 real boats that can make it happen. Not fantasy yachts, not million-dollar dream machines. Genuine, move-in ready Liveaboards. All under $70,000. All sitting on the water right now, waiting for someone to say yes. We are counting down from 5 to 1. And the number 1 boat on this list is going to make you question everything you thought you knew about what retirement could look like. Stay with me. Before we dive in, drop a comment right now and tell me where in the world you would want to wake up on a boat. A Florida marina? The Pacific Northwest? The Caribbean? Somewhere in the Mediterranean? There is no wrong answer. I will be reading every single one. Number 5. The 1983 DeFever 41, named Los Bon Vivants, sitting in Miami, Florida, for $58,700. Los Bon Vivants. That is French for those who live well. And I need you to know, this boat earns that name completely. Now I know what some of you are thinking. 1983. That is over 40 years old. Here is what I want you to understand before you let that stop you. The DeFever 41 is not just any old boat. Liveaboard communities have worshipped this hull for decades. People who genuinely know boats will tell you the DeFever 41 is the kind of boat you buy and never sell. It is built like a tank, rides like a dream, and holds its character in a way that production boats simply cannot touch. But here is where things get really interesting. Step inside. Rich teak wood paneling wraps every surface. Hardwood floors run the full length of the cabin. The interior is done in a classic nautical navy and white, the kind of space that makes you feel like you have arrived somewhere important. This is not a camping trip. This is a home. The layout makes immediate sense for liveaboard life. Helm forward, so you always know what is ahead. Dining amidships around a beautiful teak table. The galley aft with a stove, oven, microwave, refrigerator, and a double stainless sink. Everything where it should be. Everything within reach. Now this next detail matters more than most people realize. This boat has 2 cabins and 2 heads. Under $60,000. That combination is genuinely rare at this price. The aft cabin suite has a queen berth, its own private head, and an actual bathtub. Not a shower, a bathtub. For anyone thinking seriously about full-time liveaboard life, that is the kind of detail that changes your daily quality of life in ways you only fully appreciate after you are living it. The mechanical side is clean and simple. Single Perkins diesel engine. 1 engine to maintain. 1 bill to pay. 400 gallons of fuel capacity across 2 tanks. The Onan generator keeps the full air conditioning running. And in Miami, that is not optional. That is survival. Full electronics at both helm stations. Everything works. Outside she is stunning. Classic navy blue hull. Teak cockpit. Teak side decks. Custom davits with a tender included. The aft cockpit is furnished with wicker lounge furniture. Picture sitting out there on a warm Miami evening. Boats drifting past. The city skyline glowing in the distance. That is Tuesday, and being in Miami puts her perfectly positioned for the Florida Keys, the Bahamas, or jumping onto the Great Loop whenever the mood strikes. Quick question for the comments before we move on. Would you rather have a single engine that is simple and bulletproof, or twin engines for redundancy? Drop your answer below. It is one of the best debates in the Liveaboard world, and I want to see where this audience stands. Number 4. The 1997 Mainship 35T Trawler, named Dulcita, in Bellingham, Washington, for $54,500. Dulcita means little sweet one in Spanish. And after going through every photo and every detail of this listing, that name is absolutely earned. This is the lowest priced boat on today's list, already cut 27% from the original asking price because the owners bought a new boat and need this one gone. That is your window. Here is one of my favorite things to do on this channel. I add up everything the current owner already spent, so you do not have to, because move-in ready does not mean perfect from the factory. It means somebody already did all the work. And on Dulcita, somebody did an extraordinary amount of work. Full gel coat restoration in 2022. Brand new hydraulic steering system in 2022. New flooring in 2024. New fridge and custom cabinets in 2021. New flybridge cushions in 2024. New dinghy with davit system in 2023. New Garmin electronics at both helm stations in 2024. Bottom paint and haul out as recently as March 2025. Fuel filters just replaced in 2026. This is not a boat someone neglected. This is a boat someone genuinely loved. The twin Volvo Penta diesels have only 1,167 hours on them. On a 1997 boat. That is shockingly low. And they already had a full $15,000 overhaul. The Northern Lights generator has only 722 hours. Everything runs. Step inside, and the salon immediately feels like somewhere you want to stay. Wrap-around windows, flooding the space with natural light. Warm teak cabinetry, fresh green cushions with tropical pillows that give the whole interior a vacation home energy. The galley has an oven, stove, microwave, refrigerator, deep freezer, and Korean countertops. The forward master has an island queen bed with a skylight hatch directly above it. Lie in that bed on a clear night in the San Juan Islands and look straight up at the stars. That is not a small thing. That is the whole thing. Here is something that matters specifically for seniors, and I want to be direct about it. Wide side decks with stainless steel handrails all the way around this boat. Clear pathways, grab handles where you actually need them. Safety on a Liveaboard is not a conversation to skip, and Dulcita handles it thoughtfully. And this bonus almost cannot be priced. A marina slip sublease in Bellingham comes with this boat. There is normally a multi-year waiting list for slips in that marina. Getting a move-in ready boat and a confirmed place to park it on day one at this price is something you simply do not see very often. If you are the kind of person who lies awake at night, imagining a different kind of life, a slower life, a quieter life, a life measured in tides instead of traffic, this channel was built for you. Every week we find boats like these, so you do not have to search alone. Hit subscribe and the bell so you never miss one. That is the only time I am going to ask in this video, and I mean it genuinely. Number 3. The 1981 Tollycraft 43 motor yacht in Brinnon, Washington, for $69,500. I want you to think about what a 43-foot motor yacht normally costs. Twin engines, 2 full staterooms, 2 heads with separate showers, a flybridge, a walk-in engine room, a 14-foot beam in good condition. You are probably thinking somewhere between $150,000 and $300,000. Maybe more, $69,500. Already reduced 13%. This is the largest boat on today's list. Designed by the legendary Ed Monk and built by Tollycraft, an American company that made boats to last. But the year and the size are not even the most interesting thing about this boat. Not by a long stretch. This is where most boats in this price range fall completely flat. The interior. Usually on an older motor yacht, you open the cabin door and you immediately feel the year it was built. Dated fabrics, tired wood, the smell of 40 years making every decision for you. Not here. Not even close. The current owner made a decision to completely reimagine this interior, and the results are honestly jaw-dropping. The galley has dark slab countertops and a hammered copper farmhouse sink with a matte black faucet, rich mahogany cabinetry with louvered doors, a proper range with oven, new flooring throughout, nautical-themed wallpaper that adds personality and life to every corner. Both heads have been updated with that same hammered copper vessel sink treatment. One has a glass door shower stall. Everything feels intentional. Everything feels modern. This does not look like a 1981 boat. It looks like a high-end waterfront condo that someone decided to float. The master stateroom has a full island queen berth with access from both sides. Couples, that matters more in a boat cabin than you might think right now. Flat-screen TV, reading lamps, hanging lockers. The guest stateroom has a double berth with storage and its own port light. The main salon is large and panoramic with windows on all sides, a full L-shaped settee, and a dining table. There is genuine living room energy in here. Room to breathe, room to have people over, room to simply exist comfortably without feeling like you are making compromises. The mechanicals are solid. Twin Caterpillar 3208 diesels with only 1,820 hours, 400 gallons of fuel, Kohler generator, Raymarine autopilot, walk-in engine room with both engines side by side and actual standing room to work on them. That last detail matters enormously for long-term ownership. Now, if someone handed you the keys to the Tollycraft 43 tomorrow, where is the first place you would go? Drop it in the comments. And if somebody in your life is dreaming about liveaboard life on a budget, share this video with them today. You might be the reason they finally make the move. Number 2. The 1978 Morton and Hersloff 36, named Just Enough, in Cos Cob, Connecticut, for $69,000. I am going to say something that might be controversial. This is a 1978 boat at $69,000, and I believe it is worth every single cent, and possibly more. Here is why. Just Enough is not a production boat. It was custom designed by naval architect Charles Whitholes and built by hand in Easton, Maryland. The hull below the waterline is 3/4 of an inch of solid fiberglass. No coring, no foam, no possibility of the osmotic blistering and delamination that quietly destroys so many older boats. This hull was built to last forever, and it has. But here is the detail that changed everything for me when I looked at this listing. The engine, single Cummins 6 BTA 315 horsepower Diamond Series diesel with only 523 hours. Genuinely low for one of the most respected marine diesel platforms ever made. She cruises at 9 to 12 knots comfortably and can push to 14. All injectors serviced, new exhaust manifold, new alternator. This engine is sorted, and then there is this. A bow thruster was added in 2017. Seniors, I want you to hear this directly. Docking this boat single-handed is not a white-knuckle experience anymore. You press a button, the bow moves exactly where you want it. Stress-free arrivals and departures every single time. That is not a small thing when you are living aboard and moving around on your own schedule. The electronics package is seriously impressive. 9-inch Garmin touchscreen chart plotter, Garmin radar, Simrad autopilot, AIS, side scan sonar, 2 VHFs, and a Wi-Fi router with a signal amplifier, so you have real internet wherever you are docked. In the world we live in now, that is a requirement, not a luxury. The interior is bright, clean, and beautifully maintained. 6 foot 4 inches of headroom throughout. Nobody is ducking anywhere on this boat. The salon has 360-degree views through large opening windows, a fold-away Murphy bed to starboard, and teak and holly floors that were fully refinished. 2-zone AC and heat throughout. The forward V-berth becomes a wide queen with a filler piece, drawers underneath, hanging lockers, in sweet sync with hot and cold pressure water. This boat has done the Florida coast, the Keys, the Bahamas, and up to Maine. It has a proven blue water track record, and it is ready to go anywhere you point it. Two things I love about the name Just Enough. First, it is a quiet reminder that you do not need a mansion to have a magnificent life. And second, there is nothing just enough about this boat. It is quite a lot more than enough. One more thing before we get to number one. What is the one thing still holding you back from liveaboard life? Is it money? Family? Fear of the unknown? Not knowing where to start? Drop it in the comments honestly, because the answer you give might become the next video on this channel. That is not a throwaway line. I mean it. And now, number one. Before I say the name, I want to say one thing. If you mention the words Grand Banks to any serious liveaboard, any long-range passage maker, any marina full of people who have spent decades living on the water, they will nod slowly and say the same thing. That is the one. The 1985 Grand Banks 36 Classic. Alberta, Alabama. $65,500. Hold that number. $65,500 for a Grand Banks. That is not something you come across every day. That is not something you come across every year. Grand Banks Yachts built their boats to a standard that very few manufacturers have ever matched. The 36 Classic has been called the most successful liveaboard trawler ever built. And the reason is not magic, it is this. Grand Banks built boats the way people used to build things. To last, to work, and to make the people living on them genuinely deeply comfortable for the long haul. Now here is something that matters immediately. The exterior teak on this boat was just refinished in 2026. Fresh. The teak decks themselves were replaced years ago with fiberglass and non-skid, which means there is no teak deck rot anywhere on this boat, one of the most common and expensive problems on any classic trawler. Already solved. Electric windlass rebuilt in 2024. Brand new Honda outboard on the dinghy in 2024. New batteries in 2024. Bridge enclosure with full bimini and isinglass. Stainless steel railings everywhere you need them. The Caterpillar 3208 diesel puts out 210 horsepower. Yes, the hours are higher, but here is what you need to understand about that engine. The Cat 3208 is one of the most famously durable marine engines ever made. Parts are available everywhere. Every competent diesel mechanic knows it cold. It is not a liability. It is a known quantity with a proven record. New aluminum fuel tanks hold 400 gallons. Raymarine chart plotter with radar at both helm stations. Kubota generator, 3,000-watt inverter with battery charger. Dual automatic bilge pumps plus a manual. Halon fire suppression. Every system a serious liveaboard needs is already here and already working. Step inside and you immediately understand why people spend their entire boating lives chasing this boat. Rich, warm, classic teak interior, teak parquet floors, teak drop leaf table, a teak bar, an L-shaped settee with storage everywhere. Everything solid, refined, and purposeful. This is not a boat designed to sell at a boat show. It was designed to live on for decades, and it shows in every single corner. 2 staterooms and 2 heads, both ensuite with showers and teak grating. The galley has a 3-burner propane stove with oven, an auxiliary 2-burner electric stove, an air fryer, a refrigerator freezer, and a pressurized hot water system. Cooking dinner at anchor in that galley while the sun drops below the waterline. Waking up to a quiet marina on a Tuesday with nowhere to be. Driving from the inside helm while rain taps softly against the windows on a gray passage morning. That is what the Grand Banks 36 actually offers. Not specifications, not features. A life, and here is what makes it the clear number one for seniors specifically. Dual helm stations. Inside when the weather turns. Topside on the days that remind you exactly why you made this decision. The build quality is in a completely different league from production boats of the same era. The systems are proven. The reputation is earned over decades. This is the boat you buy and stop looking. This is the boat that turns your retirement from something you planned into something you are actually living. 5 boats. 5 different lives waiting to happen. All under $70,000. All real. All available right now. The 1983 DeFever 41 in Miami. A legendary hull with a bathtub, 2 heads, and the Bahamas practically out the front door. The 1997 Mainship 350 in Bellingham. The most recently updated boat on the list at the lowest price, with a rare marina slip included. The 1981 Tollycraft 43 in Washington. More boat per dollar than almost anything we have ever featured, with an interior that will stop you mid-scroll. The 1978 Morton and Herzloff 36 in Connecticut. A one-of-a-kind custom build, with a bow thruster, a solid glass hull, and a blue water history from Maine to the Bahamas. And the 1985 Grand Banks 36 Classic in Alabama. Because when it comes to liveaboard trawlers, the Grand Banks name simply stands alone. Links to all 5 listings are in the description below. Now I want to hear from you. Which boat did you pick? Drop your number in the comments, 1 through 5. And if you want to tell me why, even better. I will be reading and responding today. And one final question to leave you with. What is the version of your life that exists on the other side of making this decision? Not the fears, not the logistics, not the what-ifs. The version where you actually did it. Where you woke up on the water. Where the rent is gone and the horizon is right there every single morning. That version is closer than you think. The water is out there. The boats are real. The only question left is whether you are ready.